There are now 4 minutes equally divided prior to the vote in relation to the Coburn Amendment.
Madam President.
The senator from Oklahoma is. Could we please have order before the senator from Oklahoma speaks? The senator from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you. This is a straightforward amendment that says if you pay into the Patent Trademark Office to have a patent evaluated, that money ought to be spent on the process. We now have stolen almost $900 million from the Patent Office. We have almost 1 million patents in arrears. We have a fantastic leadership in the Patent Office, and we won't send them the money to do their job. It's unconscionable that we won't do this. I understand the arguments against it, and I would reserve the balance of our time.
Who yields time in opposition?
Madam President, can we have order?
Could we have order, please, so the senator from Vermont can speak? Can we please have order? The senator from Vermont is recognized.
Madam President, I understand what the senator from Oklahoma says, but the Coburn Amendment can derail and even kill this bill. I'll say this because, as I've told the senator, I will move to table in a moment. But this bill would otherwise help our recovering economy, to unleash innovation and create jobs. Now, I've worked for years against Patent Office fee diversion, but I oppose this amendment. Its formulation was already rejected by the House of Representatives. They made it very clear there's no reason they will change. This amendment can sink years of efforts by both Republicans and Democrats in this body and the other body to pass. What we've done, actually this amendment could kill the bill over a mere formality, the difference between a revolving fund and a reserve fund. We've worked out a compromise in good faith. The money, the fees can only be spent, under the bill as it is here, can only be spent PTO, but the only thing is we actually have a chance to take a look at what they're spending it on. So they couldn't buy everybody a car, they couldn't have a gilded place. They actually have to spend it on getting through the backlog of patents. It won't go anywhere else. It will only go to the Patent Office, so we should not kill the bill over this amendment. We should reject the amendment and pass the bill. It's time for us to legislate. That's what the American people elect us to do. That's what they expect us to do. Let's not kill the bill after all this work over something that will really make no difference in the long run. So I therefore move to table the Coburn Amendment.
All time is not yet expired.
And as
Madam President, I think I have reserved my time.
Senator from Oklahoma has reserved his time. He has 1.5 minutes.
I would make the following points, and I'd ask for order before I do that.
Could we please have order so the senator from Oklahoma can speak?
It is true that the House bill moves the money to where it can't be spent elsewhere, but there's no requirement that the money be spent in the Patent Office. There's a written agreement between an appropriation chairman and the Speaker that is as good as long as both of them are in their position. This is a 7-year authorization. Will not guarantee that the money actually goes to the Patent Office. This bill, with this amendment in it, went out of the House Judiciary Committee 32-3 in a strong bipartisan vote. It was never voted on in the Senate because the appropriators objected because of a technical error which has been corrected in this amendment. So it violates no House rules, it violates no condition, and in fact will guarantee that the Patent Office has the funds that it needs to have to put us back in the place we need it. This bill will not be killed because we're going to make sure the money for patents goes to the Patent Office. And anybody that wants to claim that, ask yourself what you're saying. We're not going to do the right thing because somebody says they won't do the right thing? We ought to do the right thing. I yield back the remainder of my time.
Madam President, because this amendment would kill the bill, I move to table and ask for the yeas and nays.
Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. Could I please see a sufficient second? There appears to be a sufficient second. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka, Mr. Alexander, Ms. Ayotte, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Baucus, Mr. Beckich. Mr. Bennett. You got him. Right.
It's still more exciting. And then people see you doing that. Like all the people that care about you.
Mr. Bingaman.
Oh, that's right.
You know that I went up and
Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Bozeman. Mrs. Boxer. Mr. Brown of Massachusetts. Mr. Brown of Ohio. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey. Mr. Chambliss. Mr. Coates. Mr. Coburn. Mr. Cochran. Ms. Collins. Mr. Conrad. Mr. Coons. Mr. Corker. Mr. Cornyn. Mr. Crapo. Mr. Dement. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Enzi. Mrs. Feinstein. Mr. Franken. Mrs. Gillibrand. Gary. Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mrs. Hagan, Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hatch, Mr. Heller, Mr. Hoven, Mrs. Hutchison, Mr. Inhofe, Mr. No Way, Mr. Isaacson, Mr. Johanns, Mr. Johnson of Wisconsin, Mr. Johnson of South Dakota, Mr. Carey, Mr. Kirk, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Cole, Mr. Kyle, Ms. Landrieu, Mr. Lautenberg, Mr. Leahy, Mr. Lee, Mr. Levin, Mr. Lieberman, Mr. Lugar, Mr. Manchin, Mr. McCain, Mrs. McCaskill, Mr. McConnell, Mr. Menendez, Mr. Merkley, Ms. Mikulski, Mr. Moran, Ms. Murkowski, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Nelson, Nebraska, Mr. Nelson of Florida, Mr. Paul, Mr. Portman, Mr. Pryor, Mr. Reed of Rhode Island, Mr. Reed of Nevada, Mr. Risch, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Rockefeller, Mr. Rubio, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Sessions, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Shelby, Ms. Snow, Ms. Stabenow, Mr. Tester, Mr. Thune, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Udall of Colorado, Mr. Udall of New Mexico, Mr. Vitter, Mr. Warner,
I don't do that. All you do enough is raise money for the Tea Party. You do all you do enough to get sick of the president's speeches. But you will love his speeches.
Mr. Webb, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker,
Because I sit here, I go,
Mr. Wyden. Senators voting in the affirmative: Akaka, Baucus, Bennett, Blumenthal, Brown of Massachusetts, Brown of Ohio, Cardin, Carper, Casey, Cochran, Collins, Coons, Durbin, Franken, Gillibrand, Grassley, Hagan, Hoven, Inouye, Johnson of South Dakota, Cole, Landrieu, Lautenberg, Leahy, Levin, Lugar, Manchin, Menendez, Merkley, Mikulski, Murkowski, Murray, Nelson, Nebraska, Nelson of Florida, Pryor, Reed of Rhode Island, Reed of Nevada, Sanders, Schumer, Shaheen, Shelby, Stabenow, Udall, Colorado, Udall, New Mexico, Webb, and Whitehouse. Senators voting in the negative: Ayotte, Barrasso, Blunt, Bozeman, Boxer, Burr, Cantwell, Chambliss, Coates, Coburn, Corker, Cornyn, Crapo, Dement, Enzi, Graham, Hatch, Heller, Hutchison, Inhofe, Isaacson, Johans, Johnson of Wisconsin, Kirk, Lee, McCain, McCaskill, McConnell, Moran, Paul, Portman, Risch, Roberts, Sessions, Snow, Tester, Thune, Toomey, Vitter, and Wicker. Mr. Carey, aye. Mr. Bingaman, aye. Mr. Kyle, aye. Mr. Udall of Colorado, no. Mr. Alexander, no. Mr. Harkin? Aye. I already have them. Mr. Lieberman? Aye. Ms. Klobuchar? No. Mr. Warner? No. Mr. Beckett? Mr. Beckett? No. Mrs. Feinstein? No. Mr. Wyden? No.
Coburn Amendment No. 599.
Mr. Conrad, no.
Are there any senators wishing to vote or change his or her vote? If not, the ayes are 50, the nays are 48. The motion to table the amendment is carried. It's agreed to. Okay, there are now the majority leader.
Could we have order?
Yes, order, please. Thank you. The leader.
Thank you. Mr. President, we have one more vote. We're going to have 4 minutes, and then we'll vote on final passage of this important piece of legislation. The President's speech is at 7 o'clock. We'll gather here at 6:30 to proceed to the House chamber. When the President's vote is over, we're going to come back here, and I will move to table the move to proceed. I'm sorry, I've got table on the head. We'll move to proceed to the debt ceiling vote that we know is coming. If that motion to proceed fails, then we will be through for the week as far as votes go. If the vote to proceed is affirmative in nature, we'll be back tomorrow. There'll be 10 hours that are allowed. We don't have to use all 10 hours, but we'll have to finish this matter tomorrow. So I think it's clear that I would hope that we don't proceed to that, but we'll have to see. I'm here tomorrow. We are going to, that vote will start very quickly tonight. As soon as the vote's over, a number of senators will be here will be in recess subject to call the chair. The vote will start very quickly. I would also say that I've talked to the Republican leader about how we're going to proceed next week. We don't have that defined because I'm waiting to hear from the Speaker either tonight or tomorrow to make that more definite as what we need to do next week. So again, we have one more vote after the President's speech tonight. President, no one moved to reconsider that last vote was taken. Is that right?
That is correct.
And I would do so.
Noted. Without objection. Okay, there are now 4 minutes equally divided prior to a vote on the passage of the measure. Who yields time?
President.
The senator from Vermont. Order, please. Order, please.
Mr. President.
Senator from Vermont.
We have order.
Take your conversations outside, please, if you must converse. The senator from Vermont.
Thank you. Mr. President, 6 months ago, the Senate approved the America Invents Act to make the first meaningful, comprehensive reforms in the nation's patent system in nearly 60 years. Today, the Senate has come together once again. This time, to send this important job-creating legislation to the President to be signed into law. We cast aside partisan rhetoric. We work together in a bipartisan and bicameral manner. And so Congress sends the President Obama the most significant jobs bill of this Congress. The bill originated 6 years ago in the House of Representatives when Chairman Smith and Mr. Berman introduced the first patent reform proposals. Dozens of congressional hearings, markup sessions, briefings, countless meetings, through 2 presidential administrations and 3 Congresses, is finally a reality. The Leahy-Smith America Invents Act is a bipartisan bill, a bipartisan accomplishment. What we in Washington can do for our constituents at home when we come together. I want to thank Senator Kyle for his work in bringing this bill to the floor of the Senate twice. Senator Grassley for his commitment to making patent reform the Judiciary Committee's top priority this year. Chairman Smith and the other body deserves credit for leading the House consideration of this important bill, and I look forward to working with him on our next intellectual property priority, combating online infringement. I thank the members of the Judiciary Committee who worked together to get quorums, to get this passed, their contributions. And if I could, Mr. President, I'd like to acknowledge several members of my Judiciary Committee staff, especially Aaron Cooper, who sits here beside me. He spent more hours than I even want to think about, or his family wants to think about. And other senators, as Susan Davies before him did. Other senators, members of the House, others. Ed Pagano, my chief of staff, who kept everybody together on this. And, of course, Bruce Cohen, my chief counsel on the Judiciary Committee, who every time I thought maybe we're not going to make it, would tell me you got to keep going, and he was right. Erica Chabot, Curtis Legate, Scott Wilson.
Senator's time has expired.
And I ask consent for 30 more seconds.
Without objection.
I wish to commend the hard-working staff of other senators, Joe Mattel, Rita Lowry, Tim Molino, Matt Sandgren, and Chairman Smith's dedicated staff, as well as Richard Herdling, Blaine Merritt, Vishal Ahmed, Kim Smith. It's now going to be the law of the land. I thank all my colleagues who worked together in this.
Okay, the clerk will read the bill.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry.
Mr. President.
The senator from Washington.
Mr. President, rising in opposition, this is not a patent reform bill. This is a big corporation patent giveaway that tramples on the rights of small inventors. It changes first to invent to first to file, which means if you're a big corporation and have lots of resources, you will get there and get the patent. Secondly, it doesn't keep the money where it belongs. It belongs in the patent office. And yet, instead of having reforms that will help us expedite patents, it is giving the money away that is needed to make this kind of innovation work. Third, the bill is full of special giveaways to particular industry corporations, as we have just witnessed with votes on the floor. And fourth, by taking away the business patent method language, you will make it more complicated and have years and years of lawsuits on patents that have already been issued. If this is job creation, I got news from my colleagues. In an innovation economy, it is siding with corporate interests against the little guy. I urge a no vote.
Final passage.
Is there a sufficient second? Appears to be. The yeas and nays are ordered. Clerk will read the bill for the third time.
Calendar number 87, H.R. 1249, an act to amend Title 35, United States Code to provide for patent reform.
The question occurs on passage of H.R. 1249. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka. Mr. Alexander.
Nelson of Florida, aye. Shelby, aye. Rodney, aye. Okay.
Bitter, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Scott Brown, yes.
Did you say Johnson of South Dakota?
Correct.
Thank you, John. You're welcome, sir.
cleared my head. Aye. You get this vote?
This passes the bill. Ms. Ayotte. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Baucus. Mr. Begich. Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bingaman. Mr. Blumenthal. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Boxer, Mr. Brown of Massachusetts, Mr. Brown of Ohio, Mr. Burr, Ms. Cantwell, Mr. Cardin, Mr. Carper, Mr. Casey, Mr. Chambliss, Mr. Coates, Mr. Coburn, Mr. Cochran, Ms. Collins, Mr. Conrad, Mr. Coons, Mr. Corker, Mr. Cornyn, Mr. Crapo, Mr. DeMint, Mr. Durbin, Mr. Enzi, Mrs. Feinstein, Mr. Franken, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mrs. Hagan, Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hatch, Mr. Heller, Mr. Hoven, Mrs. Hutchison, Mr. Inhofe, Mr. Inouye, Mr. Isaacson, Mr. Johans, Mr. Johnson of Wisconsin, Mr. Johnson of South Dakota, Mr. Kerry, Mr. Kirk, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Cole, Mr. Kyle, Ms. Landrieu, Mr. Lautenberg, Mr. Leahy, Mr. Lee, Mr. Levin, Mr. Lieberman, Mr. Lugar, Mr. Manchin, Mr. McCain, Mrs. McCaskill, Mr. McConnell, Mr. Menendez, Mr. Merkley, Ms. Mikulski, Mr. Moran, Ms. Murkowski, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Nelson of Nebraska, Mr. Nelson of Florida, Mr. Paul, Mr. Portman, Mr. Pryor, Mr. Reed of Rhode Island, Mr. Reed of Nevada, Mr. Risch, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Rockefeller, Mr. Rubio. Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Sessions, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Shelby, Ms. Snow, Ms. Stabenow, Mr. Tester, Mr. Thune, Mr. Toomey, Mr. Udall of Colorado, Mr. Udall of New Mexico, Mr. Vitter, Mr. Warner, Mr. Webb, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden. Senators voting in the affirmative: Akaka, Alexander, Ayotte, Barrasso, Baucus, Begich, Bennett, Bingaman, Blumenthal, Blunt, Bozeman, Brown of Massachusetts, Brown of Ohio, Burr, Cardin, Carper, Casey, Chambliss, Coates, Cochran, Collins, Conrad, Corker, Cornyn, Crapo, Durbin, Enzi, Feinstein, Franken, Gillibrand, Graham, Grassley, Hagan, Harkin, Hatch, Heller, Hoeven, Hutchison, Inhofe, Inouye, Isaacson, Johans, Johnson of South Dakota, Kerry, Kirk, Klobuchar, Cole, Kyle, Landrieu, Lautenberg, Leahy, Levin, Lieberman, Lugar, Manchin, McConnell, Menendez, Merkley, Mikulski, Moran, Murray, Nelson of Nebraska, Nelson of Florida, Portman, Pryor, Reed of Rhode Island, Risch, Roberts, Sanders, Schumer, Sessions, Shaheen, Shelby, Stabenow, Tester, Thune, Toomey, Udall of Colorado, Udall of New Mexico, Vitter, Warner, Webb, Whitehouse, Wicker, Wyden. Senators voting in the negative: Boxer, Cantwell, Coburn, DeMint, Johnson of Wisconsin, Lee, McCain, McCaskill, Paul. Ms. Snow, aye. Ms. Murkowski, aye. Mr. Coons. Mr. Coons, aye. Mr. Reed of Nevada. Mr. Reed of Nevada, aye.
Are there any senators who wish to vote or to change his or her vote? There being none, the ayes are 89, the nays are 9, and the resolution or the bill is passed.
Mr. President, I move to reconsider that vote.
Without objection. Wait.
I also move to lay that on the table.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I now ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to a period of morning business until 6:10 p.m. today. Senators during that period of time is permitted to speak for 10 minutes each.
Without objection.
I also ask unanimous consent that upon the conclusion of the joint session, the Senate stand in recess subject to the call of the chair.
Without objection.
Mr. President,
The senator from Montana.
Mr. President, on Sunday, this nation will pause to remember a painful day in American history. On September 11th, 2001, I was glued to the radio in my pickup on a long drive back home to Big Sandy. It wasn't until I stopped at a Billings restaurant that I finally saw on TV what I had heard about all day. The pictures were surreal. Although the attacks of 9/11 weren't America's first test of uncertainty, all of us knew this nation would change forever. In the hours and days and weeks following the attacks of September 11, 2001, Americans, neighbors, and perfect strangers joined together to fill the streets despite their differences. They poured out their support. They redefined the United States of America. I knew then that this great nation would overcome. Events that unite us will always make us stronger. I was reminded of that on May 2nd, when Navy SEALs found and brought swift justice to Osama bin Laden, prompting spontaneous celebrations across Montana and the rest of the country. We must never lose sight of our ability to find common ground and work together on major issues that affect us all. We have much more in common than not, and we should never forget that. It's what built this country. It's what made this the best nation on earth. And we need to summon that spirit again as we work to rebuild our economy. Mr. President, over the past decade, we've been reminded of some powerful truths that we can never afford to lose sight of. We can never take the security of this country for granted. There are, and sadly always will be, people out there bent on destroying what America stands for, taking innocent lives with them. They're always looking for the weakest links in our security. They are trained and well-financed, but our nation's troops, our intelligence agents, our law enforcement, and border security officers are even better trained. I am particularly concerned about weaknesses along the Montana northern border with Canada. Up until recently, only a few orange cones in the middle of a road protected the country from terrorism. Unfortunately, the days when orange cones did the trick are behind us. I have worked on the Homeland Security Committee to improve this nation's security, and things are better than they were a decade ago. We are still working to achieve the right mix of people, technology, and know-how to secure the northern border. We have also been reminded that America's military can achieve anything asked of them. This comes with a cost. Like so many folks from the greatest generation after Pearl Harbor Day, hundreds of Montanans signed up to defend our country after 9/11. I stand in deep appreciation for the men and women who, in those dark hours, stood up for our country. I thank them and their families for their service, their sacrifice, and their patriotism. In the years since 9/11, American forces have paid a tremendous price in Iraq and Afghanistan, in lives and livelihoods. Until only a few years ago, veterans had to fight another battle at home, trying to get access to the benefits that they're promised. Too many veterans are still fighting for adequate funding and access to quality health care services that they have earned. As one veteran said, the day this nation stops taking care of our veterans is the day this nation should stop creating them, and I couldn't agree more. And Montanans were reminded that some out there are still willing to invade our privacy and trample on our constitutional rights in the name of security and freedom. Measures like the Patriot Act, which I have consistently opposed, forfeit some basic freedoms. Some lawmakers aren't stopping there. In the House, a bill called the National Security and Federal Lands Protection Act would allow the Department of Homeland Security to waive laws and seize control of public lands within 100 miles of the border, even if that means closing off grazing lands, shuttering national parks, and trampling on the rights of private landowners. That would have an enormous impact on the whole of Montana. If bad bills like that are turned into law, America loses. Our Constitution is a powerful document, and terrorists want nothing more than to watch our rights crumble away by the weight of our own policies. We can and we will remain strong, but we must do it with respect to our rights and freedoms. Today, as on Sunday, Mr. President, My prayers are with those Americans who have died at the hands of terrorists on and since 9/11, and for the tens of thousands of troops still on the front lines in Afghanistan and elsewhere, and for the families of thousands of American troops who have died in service to this country since that terrible day. My wife Charlotte and I stand with all Montanans in saying thank you to the members of our military, present and past, especially those who have come home with injuries seen and unseen. This nation will never forget your sacrifice. I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator from Texas.
Mr. President, I rise in morning business to talk about a situation in Texas, the wildfires, the drought. Really, since we've been mostly home during the August recess, I have seen the floods in the Midwest and on the Missouri and Mississippi rivers. I've seen the hurricane that hit New York and all along the East Coast. And at the same time, with all of the extra water in the East, we have had as much as 60 days in parts of Texas with no rain whatsoever. And the drought is killing livestock, it's killing land, it's just a sad situation. And what has happened, of course, is from that, the wildfires have been able to go further than we've ever seen in Texas before. Just in the past 7 days, the Texas Forest Service has responded to 176 fires, destroying nearly 130,000 acres. This year alone, over 2,000 fires have burned more than 2 million acres in Texas. We have high winds and drought conditions, which are a terrible combination in this instance. Yesterday, the Texas Forest Service responded to 20 new fires, which consumed nearly 1,500 more acres. One of the hardest hit areas is Bastrop County, which is near Austin. I was talking to some of my constituents in Houston, which is not near Austin, and they were talking about seeing and smelling the smoke in Houston from these fires in Bastrop. An assessment has been completed as of now that says 785 homes were completely destroyed. 238 homes have been reported lost as a result of other fires over the past 3 days, and the fires are so big that they are being photographed from space. Senator Cornyn and I have asked the President to add the recent wildfires from just this last week to his previous disaster declaration from this spring, which did include wildfires. I just want the people of Texas to know that Senator Cornyn and I are working together to get all of the federal help that they need. I have been in contact with the state representatives from the area, the mayors and the county judges to get the reports, and so far they feel that they have gotten the help that they've needed. But now, in the aftermath, we will need to be part of any kind of disaster bill that goes through this Senate or is declared by the President. So it is my hope that we can work through that next week and make sure that we include these most recent fires along with the flood disaster relief that supposedly will come up on the floor in Congress next week. So we're going to work on it and try to help these people. We can't replace the graduation pictures and the wedding pictures and the children's pictures that are lost. And those are the human things that you see in this type of a situation. But we can certainly help these people rebuild, and that's what we want to do. So, Mr. President, we're going to be on the job trying to help in every way that we can, knowing that there won't be 100% replacement because the photographs and the personal items and grandmother's wedding ring may not be recovered. But we're going to do what we can, as Americans always do. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.
Mr. President.